Imagine this. Your nation's entire future hangs on a message from God. Simple enough, right? But then, two prophets show up. They both claim to speak for God, but they tell you to do the exact opposite. So, who do you believe?
Okay, so let's just drop right into this world. That's the prophet Elijah, standing bold as anything before King Ahab and basically turning off the water for the entire country, just with his words. The stakes? Well, they couldn't be any higher. And believe me, these prophets were way more than just weathermen.
Oh yeah, you heard that right. Guys like the prophet Samuel, he literally anointed the first kings of Israel, people like Saul and David. And if a king started messing up, it was the prophet's job to march right in there and call them out. They were like the ultimate guardians of the nation's political and spiritual health.
And that created a huge problem for the average person, because it wasn't just true prophets walking around. There were false prophets in the mix too, and they were just as confident, just as loud, which led to this incredible crisis of belief.
So, let's look at a classic showdown. You've got the prophet Jeremiah, and his message is a tough pill to swallow. Submit to Babylon. This is God's judgment. But then you have Hananiah, and he's saying, no way, resist, God's going to save us. Two prophets claiming one God, but with two totally opposite game plans.
And Hananiah was super specific. He didn't just sell some vague hope. No, he put a deadline on it. In 2 years, he promised, God will break the yoke of Babylon. You can imagine how good that sounded. It was exactly what everyone was desperate to hear. So really, put yourself in their shoes for a second. If you listen to Hananiah and resist, you might get freedom, but if Jeremiah is right, you're facing total annihilation. If you listen to Jeremiah and submit, you might survive, but if Hananiah is right, you're a coward who gave up on God. Your choice is literally life or death.
So how on earth were they supposed to figure this out? Well, they weren't just left guessing. Over time, they developed a kind of checklist, a toolkit for trying to sort out who was the real deal.
And here they are. These 5 tests, when you put them all together, were designed to help people figure out who was actually speaking for God. So let's break them down.
First up is what you might call the common sense test. What kind of person is this prophet, really? Does their life actually line up with the God they claim to represent? As the old saying goes, you'll know them by their fruits.
And the ancient texts point to some pretty obvious red flags. False prophets were often in it for the money. They were known for wickedness, for immorality, and this is a big one. They were masters at telling people exactly what they wanted to hear, not what they needed to hear.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. This test wasn't a silver bullet. You could have a false prophet who lived a pretty clean life, and you could absolutely have a true prophet who had some serious flaws. So character was a clue, for sure, but it wasn't the whole story.
The next test was, well, a little more spectacular. Could the prophet back up their words with signs and wonders? Miracles were often the thing that showed people, okay, this person has some serious divine backup.
I mean, think about Moses at the burning bush, right? God gave him the power to turn his staff into a snake for one simple reason, so the people would have a concrete reason to believe him. The miracle was a tool to build faith. It authenticated the message.
But, and you knew there was a but, this created a huge paradox. The Bible itself warns that false prophets, pulling power from other sources, could also pull off counterfeit miracles. So a miracle might get your attention, but it wasn't proof in itself. You still had to look closely at the message that came with it. Okay, so that brings us to test number 3, which on the surface seems super simple. Did the prophet's predictions actually happen?
This is the basic rule laid out in the book of Deuteronomy. If a prophet says X is going to happen and X doesn't happen, well, then you know for sure that God didn't send them. A failed prophecy was a dead giveaway.
But again, this test had its limits. For one thing, you have to wait and see, which doesn't really help you make a decision in the moment. And what if a false prophet just gets lucky? What if their prediction comes true just by chance? So it's another useful tool, but not the final answer.
So, with all these partial tests and potential problems, was there one test that stood above the rest? Was there a true objective litmus test you could use? The answer is yes.
And here it is. The most important test was consistency. The whole idea was that God doesn't change his mind or contradict himself. So any new message from a prophet had to line up with the foundational truths God had already revealed through people like Moses.
Let's circle back to Jeremiah and Hananiah. Hananiah's message of peace and victory sounded awesome, but it completely ignored the established pattern. For generations, the message had been, when the nation is disobedient, judgment follows. Jeremiah's tough message, as unpopular as it was, fit that pattern perfectly.
And that's really the key. A true prophet wouldn't show up and try to tear everything down to start over. They would build on the foundation that was already there. They would clarify it and apply it to their own time, but they couldn't contradict it.
Now, all of this might sound like a problem from a long-lost ancient world. But the truth is, this core dilemma, how to sort through conflicting voices to find what's true, is something we deal with every single day.
I mean, just think about it. We are swimming in a sea of conflicting experts, contradictory news reports, and straight-up misinformation. Everybody's claiming to have the real story, telling us what to think and what to do. It is the exact same prophet's dilemma, just with a modern twist.
Which really leaves us with this final question to think about. The ancient Israelites had their toolkit, and their anchor was consistency with what was already established. So for us, living in this age of information overload, what's our anchor? What is the ultimate litmus test we use for truth?